Hello everyone, welcome to Civics class. Today we are going to continue lesson 1 of Civics, the legislature, union and states. Earlier we had discussed about what is the parliament, the union legislature, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha and the state legislature. And today we are going to discuss about the functions of the government, division of responsibilities between central and the state governments, powers and functions of the parliament. And the main objectives of today's topic are you will come to know about various functions of the government and the parliament. But before starting today's topic, let us recall the definitions and the cross question answers related to the previous topics. Definitions: state legislature, bicameral legislature, secret ballot, governor, and constituencies. Now answer these cross questions. What is the full form of MLA? Name the states that have both legislative assemblies and legislative councils. Who elects the members of the Vidhan Sabha? Tell any 4 points of difference between the Vidhan Sabha and the Vidhan Parishad. Now, let us discuss new words related to today's topic. Government, a group of people who governs the country. Citizens, people who were born and live in a particular country. Legislature, law-making body. Executive, law implementing body. Judiciary, law protecting body. The union list, subjects on which laws can be made only by the parliament. The state list, subjects on which laws can be made only by the state legislative assemblies. The concurrent list, subjects on which laws can be made by both the parliament and the state legislative assemblies. Law, rules made by the government. Bill, a proposed law. Ordinary bill, an ordinary bill is a proposal for ordinary laws. Money bill, a bill that is related to financial matters. Constitution amendment bill, a bill that is related to amendments in our constitution. Now our topic is functions of the government. But before starting the reading, let us discuss the main points. A group of people working together to govern a country is termed as government. And the government is necessary for the existence of civilized society. The government performs various functions to govern a country, and one of the most important function of the government is to frame the laws. And the other functions of the government are: it protects the people of the country from internal and external attacks, it imposes and collects taxes, it issues currency, it provides services to the people, and it also establishes economic, political, trade, and cultural relations with the other countries. The functions of the government are carried out by its three organs. And the three organs of the government are: legislature, that makes the law; executive, that implements the law; and judiciary, that interprets the law or protects the law. Now let us read from the book. Functions of the government. One of the important functions of a government is the formulation of laws, and citizens are expected to follow those laws. Means the main function of the government is to form the laws, and it is expected from every citizen that he or she must follow the laws made by the government. The functions of the government are carried out by its three organs: the legislature, which is the law making organ; the executive, which implements these laws; the judiciary, which makes sure that these laws are carried out along with the resolution of disputes. Resolution means solution. Means all the functions of the government are carried out by its three organs. Means these three organs play the most important role in functioning of the government. And without these three organs of the government can't govern the country smoothly. As we all live in India, we know India is a vast country. It has 28 states and 9 union territories. It is also a country of immense diversities. People of India speak different languages and follow different customs and religions. Different regions have their specific needs and problems. It would be very difficult to solve all these different problems sitting at one place. So, some of the responsibilities are divided between the central and the state governments. We know that India has a federal government. Federal government means the government working at both levels, the central level and the state level. So the legislative powers of the federal government lies within the Parliament of India. Thus the laws that are framed by the Parliament of India are enforced throughout the country. And there are many subjects or matters in our constitution, and these subjects or matters are divided among the different lists, and these lists are the union list, the state list, and the concurrent list. In the union list, the central government has the power to make the laws, whereas in the state list, the state government has the power to make laws. And in the concurrent list, both the central and the state governments have power to make laws. Now let us read from the book. Division of responsibilities between central and state governments. The Union List. Subjects on which laws can be made only by the Parliament. Subjects means matters. These laws apply to the whole country. For example, any law relating to defense means protection, finance, that means related to money, foreign affairs, can only be made by the Parliament. Next is the state list. Subjects on which laws can be made only by the state legislative assemblies. The state legislative assembly is also known as Vidhan Sabha or the lower house of the state legislature. Different states can have different laws on any of these subjects. For example, land reforms, agriculture, irrigation, police, healthcare, and sanitation. The next is the concurrent list. Subjects on which laws can be made by both the parliament and the state legislative assemblies. That means the matters on which both the parliament and the state legislative assemblies make the laws, those all subjects come under the concurrent list. For example, education, laws relating to factories or industries, electricity and labor. Basically, 97 subjects or matters comes under the union list. The subjects of the national importance comes under this list where union alone can make laws. The subjects or matters like defense, banking, currency, foreign affairs, communication, etc. comes under the union list. Now, let us talk about the state list. 61 subjects or matters are included in the state list, and these subjects or matters are of local and state importance, where the state government alone can make the laws. And the subjects or the matters that comes under the state list are police, trade, commerce, agriculture, irrigation, etc. Earlier, total 66 subjects or matters were under the state list. But after the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, there was the transfer of 5 subjects from the state list to the concurrent list. And these 5 subjects or matters which were transferred from the state list to the concurrent list were education, forest, weights and measures, protection of wild animals and birds, and administration of justice, including constitution and organization of all courts except the Supreme Court. These 5 subjects were transferred from the state list to concurrent list during the national emergency. The national emergency was there in India during the time of 1975 till 1977, and it was difficult to manage these subjects or matters by the states only. So, the Constitution of India made 42nd Amendment Act, and under that act all these subjects and matters were transferred from the state list to the concurrent list. When both Parliament and State Legislative Assembly make laws on a particular subject which contradict each other, the law made by the Parliament takes precedence over the law made by the State Legislative Assembly. Means, if any law is made on a particular subject by the Parliament as well as by the State Legislative Assembly, and in case if any contradiction is there among the Parliament and the State Legislative Assembly, at that time the law made by the Parliament is given the priority. Now, let us read and discuss powers and functions of the Parliament. Law-making function. The Parliament is the highest law-making body. It can introduce many new laws and change the old ones. Means lawmaking is the most important function of the parliament. It makes laws on a variety of subjects that are included in the union list or the concurrent list. It has the power to make the laws on all the subjects that are under the central government. It can enact new laws or change the existing ones. While making a law, certain procedures must be followed. Procedures means methods. It should first be introduced in the form of a bill. A bill is a proposed law. Means the proposal for a law is called a bill. When the bill is passed by both the houses and gets the president's consent, it becomes an act or law. Consent means approval. Means after the president's approval, bill becomes a law. The bills can broadly be divided into three categories. Categories means types: ordinary bills, money bills, and constitution amendment bills. Means there are three types of bills: ordinary bills, money bills, constitutional amendment bills. Now let us discuss about these three bills. Ordinary bills. An ordinary bill is a proposal for ordinary laws. It can be introduced by any house, that is either by the Lok Sabha or by the Rajya Sabha. Then it is passed in one house by the simple majority. Simple majority means more than 50% of members present and voting in the house. If the bill is passed in one house by simple majority, then it is sent to the other house. And after it is passed in both the houses, it will be sent to the president. And then if the president gives the approval, then the bill becomes an act. And in other words, no bill can become a law without the president's signature. Now let us read from the book. Ordinary bills. An ordinary bill is a proposal for ordinary laws. It can be introduced in either of the two houses. That means the bills other than the money bills are called the ordinary bills, and these bills can be introduced in any house of the parliament. It can be introduced either by a minister or any other member of the parliament. When a minister introduces a bill, it is called a government bill. Whereas when it is introduced by any member of the parliament, it is called a private member bill. After the bill is passed in one house, it is forwarded to the other house for approval. And after the approval of bill from both the houses, then it is further sent to the president for his or her approval. Now the next topic is money bills. But before reading it from the book, let us discuss the main points. A money bill relates to financial matters. It can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha with the prior recommendation of the president, and afterwards it is passed by simple majority in the Lok Sabha. Simple majority means more than 50% of members present in the house and voting. And after that the bill is sent to the Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha can only give recommendation to the bill which the Lok Sabha can accept or reject. The Rajya Sabha cannot hold the bill for more than 14 days, and after that the president has to pass the bill. Money bills. A money bill relates to financial matters. Matters means issues. For example, the taxes, borrowing of money, the payment and withdrawal of funds. Withdrawal means removal. It can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. That means any bill relating to income and expenditure is called a money bill, and a money bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha. It cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. Before its introduction, two steps are required to be followed. That means before the introduction of the money bill, two steps are required to be followed, and these two steps are the president's consent means approval, and secondly, a certificate from the speaker about whether it is a money bill or not. Means whether a bill is a money bill or not, it is decided by the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Now the next is constitution amendment bills. A constitution amendment bill deals with amendments in our constitution. Amendments means changes. It can be introduced either in the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Means the constitutional amendment bill can be introduced in any house and it has to be passed in both the houses by the special majority. Special majority means generally two-thirds of the total strength of the house or two-thirds of the present members in the house and voting. Now, let us once recall the different types of bills. Ordinary bill is a proposal for ordinary laws. Money bill relates to financial matters and the Constitution Amendment Bill deals with amendments in the Constitution. Ordinary bill is introduced in either of the two houses, whereas money bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha only, and the Constitution Amendment Bill is introduced in either of the two houses. Now, I hope today's topics are clear to you, and your today's homework is to learn the related terms and try to solve the related back exercises.